Hoje eu tô com sono. You have a lot more time than you think. Você tem muito mais tempo do que você pensa, ok? Deixa eu só colocar aqui na tela. Let's go!
Don't you just hate going to bed feeling like another day has slipped away? Feeling like you didn't have enough time to do everything you needed to do? In this video, I want to go over where your time is currently going, the biggest time wasters, and how to stop wasting time. Let's get into it. Let's start with a little time audit, just to really see where your time is going. So there's 168 hours in a week. Now, assuming you sleep for 8 hours per night, that means 64 hours per week sleeping, which leaves you with 104 hours. Now, assuming you work a full-time job, that's 40 hours per week, whether that's on your job or on your business.
44, my amigo. Sábado também.
Which leaves you with 64 hours. Assuming 2 hours of cooking and eating per day, that's 14 in total, leaves you with 50. 1 hour of chores per day leaves you with 43. 2 hours in the gym 4 times a week is 8, leaves you with 35. And then about 15 hours socializing between your friends, partner, family, leaves you with 20 hours. This right here is where the bulk of your time is gonna go, which is normal. These are the essentials: sleeping, working, chores, eating, socializing, exercising. But after doing all of that, right, which is a lot, you're still left with 20 extra hours. And so now the question is, okay, if after doing everything I need to do, I still have 20 extra hours, or at least you should have 20 extra hours, then the question is, where the hell is this time going? Where is it? Is it just gone? Is it in the lost and found? Did it leave like my father? Like, what's going on here? Hopefully this illustrates the fact that you have a lot more time than you think. So now let's go over where this time is actually going. Because I'm gonna assume you're not, a gamer or just someone who scrolls for hours and hours and hours. If you are, then just stop and you'll have 20 hours. But if you're a little bit more advanced and you're still struggling to see where this time is going, then
São muitas horas. É quase dia, né?
that's what we're gonna go over. Let's go over the biggest time wasters. Again, I'm not gonna include any type of social media scrolling. Of course, these are time wasters. I'm just gonna assume you're more advanced. So here's a few, the biggest culprits when we exclude the obvious ones. The first one is dead time. What the hell is dead time? Dead time is the periods between activities. Dead time, meaning there's nothing happening there, is just...
Eu dei uma pescada. Eu dei uma... Deixa eu colocar o óculos, né? Porque se eu piscar, vocês não vão saber.
between two different tasks, for example. The time between the moment you wake up to the moment you get to work on the first task. When you might start going on your phone, you might
Tá, tempo morto, tempo ocioso.
start just doing everything really slow, kind of wasting time doing this and that. The time between tasks. So for example, after I'm done recording these videos, I could either put everything away, get to my computer as fast as possible, or I could, I don't know, maybe take my time, go on my phone, check my messages, look outside, go speak to someone if there was someone here with me. See what I mean? That is dead time. Or a big one is when you come home from anywhere, from the grocery store, from work, from school, and then there's just this period, this transitory period, transition between where you were and the first task you need to do when you're back. A lot of time is wasted there. Eliminate dead time by, first of all, identifying it, by recognizing that you're currently between two tasks and you should probably hurry up and get to the next one, and maybe using even time blocking, where obviously...
Tá, pegar o tempo ocioso, identificar, time blocking. Ó, se você está vendo esse vídeo, qual que você acha mais legal? Quero sinceridade, tá? Esse óculos que eu estou usando agora, ou esse aqui, ó. Esse aqui. Qual que você acha que mais fica legal?
If you plan your day with time blocks and there's no space in between each task,
Eu me sinto que eu tô igual aquele rato cego do Shrek. Deixa eu achar aqui pra te mostrar. Rato...
task. And you know that, okay, at 3 p.m., gotta go from this task to the next. There's no like 15 minutes of just bullshit time wasting. Then it's gonna be a lot easier to not waste time with this. The second biggest time waster are low leverage tasks, which can be very deceiving because you feel like you're working, right? You feel like it's part of your 40 hours of work or whatever on your business, but it's actually a complete waste of time. And you should honestly treat it just like scrolling on your phone. Low leverage tasks don't help you attract new prospects. They don't help you convert these into clients, and then they don't help you deliver the service for those clients. And that's why it's a low leverage, because it doesn't help you with either of these, which means you're not gonna make any money from it. Therefore, it's a complete waste of time. I'm gonna go into a bit more detail on this later in this video. The next biggest time waster is task switching or multitasking. Every single time you switch task, your brain needs a certain amount of time to readjust to the new rules, the new conditions of this task. Because every task is different, requires different parts of your brains or different, different skills, different memories, whatever. And there's always a period of transition where your brain needs to readjust to the new task. And in that period, you're either just not focused properly or you're working, but it's not as effective as it could be because your brain hasn't adjusted yet. That is wasted time. Same thing when you multitask, when you're trying to do a bunch of different things, speaking to your girlfriend, trying to work, researching this thing, checking this thing real quick, tuck, 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 all the time, chasing squirrels, as some of my clients call it. Then what that leads to is being at your desk for 2 hours, but feeling like you only got 1 hour of work done. Because for half of it, you were task switching and trying to readjust and not getting any productive work done. Pick one task, go all in on it until it is done, and then switch. The final time waster is low quality social time, right? So I appreciate and I can understand wanting to spend time with your loved ones, with your friends, all of that. But the reality is that there's some sort of law of diminishing return when it comes to spending time with loved ones. The first hour, when you haven't seen them in a week or two or whatever, is very productive, right? You're both present, you're having fun, it's a good time. But the more time you spend with someone, the lower the return on investment, if you will. And so low quality social time is when you spend 5 hours with someone every single day. I don't know, you spend the whole evening, the whole night with your girlfriend, for example, and you live with her, so that's every single day. Or you see your friends every single Friday and Saturday night. What I strongly recommend is limiting the amount of time you spend with loved ones, but increasing the quality of each and every one of those hours. So instead of spending hours and hours and hours with your partner and not even being present with them,
muitas horas ociosas, né? Se você não coloca na ponta do lápis, você nem repara mesmo.
Kind of going on your phone thinking about something else. You limit the amount of hours you spend with them, but when you're with them, the phone is not there. You're looking at them in the eyes, fully present, loving them as much as possible. Same thing with friends, same thing with family. Avoid low quality social time, high quality only. This will free up so much time. Here's how to waste less time. The first step is to become more intentional. Become more intentional when you're working. Be very intentional about what you're working on the specific task. Become aware when you switch tasks, right? This is going to fix the task switching issue that I mentioned earlier. Be very clear on what task you need to work on and be intentional with it for the whole time block. When you find yourself switching tabs, when you find yourself getting out of your chair, right? Just realize that. Become more aware. Be more intentional with social time, with time on entertainments or hobbies if you have that. You need to make sure that every single hour with loved ones has the highest return on investment possible. Same thing with entertainments or sports or all of that. You just have to bring more intention into it and not just spend time with someone because it's out of routine, or you watch another movie tonight because, well, that's just what you do at night. When you become more intentional with your time, you waste a lot less of it. The next thing to do is to plan your days and use time blocks. This kind of connects to the last point, to be more.
Peraí, planeje seu dia o quê?
Because, well, that's just what you do at night. When you become more intentional
Seja mais intencional. Be more intentional.
with your time, you waste a lot less of it. The next thing to do.
Tá. 3. How to waste less time. Como perder menos tempo. Plan your days and use time blocks. Planeje seus dias e use os Tempo.
Is to plan your days and use time blocks. This kind of connects to the last point, to be more intentional. Of course, if you're more intentional with your time, that means planning out your days, right? Planning out what you're gonna get done, how you're gonna use your time. And I strongly recommend using time blocks where you say, okay, from this time to this time, that's what I'm doing. I'm working on this task. This is a very important one. And then from that time to this time, I'm doing this. And then you know what? From this time to this time, I'm gonna spend 2 hours with my partner. I'm gonna go see my friends who I haven't seen in 3 months. We're gonna do this specific thing. It's gonna be super high quality. I'm gonna feel really good after that. It all starts by planning your day and not letting these periods of dead time, right? Between time blocks, not letting those in, not leaving big ass spaces where there's just nothing in your schedule and you have no clue what you're gonna do because you haven't like planned out what tasks needed to get done and you haven't used time blocks. At that point, the only way to waste time is to not respect your schedule. Really think about this. Right now, the reason you're maybe wasting time is because you're not being intentional, you're not planning your days, things just sort of happen, the day ends, you're like, what, where did the time go? I just wasted a whole day. But if you use these tactics and you plan your days, then the only way to waste time at that point is to decide, oh, today I'm not gonna
Também tem uma caneta vermelha, meu amigo.
respect what's on my schedule. I'm just not gonna do it, which is a lot harder than not having a plan in the first place. And the final thing you can do to not waste time is to do
Serious task audit. Attract, convert, deliver.
a serious task audit. So think about your business and think about all the tasks that need to get
Sérias tarefas auditivas.
done. All the
Atrair, converter.
tasks that you do on a weekly basis. And what I need you to do is really look at those and identify, again, we're coming back to the attraction, conversion, delivery that I mentioned earlier. Only keep the tasks that help you attract prospects, convert those prospects into paying clients, and then deliver a service to those paying clients. When you've got a list of the tasks that you do, and some of them you cannot link back to one of these 3 things, then it is low leverage, like we mentioned earlier, which is wasted time. Only keep the highest leverage task in your business and you're gonna waste a lot less time. You're gonna get more results out of each hour you actually put in, which could free up even more of your time. If you click the first link in the description, you're gonna be able to pass a free productivity quiz, which will tell you your #1 productivity constraint, right? The #1 thing holding you back. And most importantly, it's gonna give you a solution. So click the first link in the description. I'll see you there. Hopefully you
Olha o vídeo que o cara recomenda. You have a lot more motivation than you think. You have a lot more time than you think. Ele gosta de fazer assim, né? Só mudar o assunto. O título é o mesmo.